Australian government tries to hide behind the magic of sci-fi. The Australian government would like to believe that the jail system is the same one, exactly the same one, just with one teeny tiny difference to it. What I'm going to claim is that essentially the entire incentives of the judicial system are going to massively change as a result of implementing this policy, therefore creating a much less free, fair, and actually more crimes in the society all in all. Most of the answers are going to be integrated. One thing, if they have the Pope Fiat under their side to have a sci-fi magic, we can have prison reform and better judges on the other side of the house. This is right. Okay, let's start. A couple of points here, 5 points on incentives of people that live in such a country. First thing, Schulman tries to correct what Ayal tells you about the idea that a lot of people will have a free pass on crime. Note moreover a couple of things here, and then he actually changes the mechanism, which is not valid to add 6 months after Ayal clearly says that it's going to be cut off, but let's even assume that the second mechanism happens. No, this is not a free pass for one crime, this is a free pass for every crime that you commit until you get caught. In which cases it might apply even if you get 6 months only in jail. Cases of embezzlement in Wall Street, cases of not paying people that you should be able to. Note that actually this, we believe, wins a huge part of the debate on its own. The amount of money that happens in Ponzi schemes that is actually taken from the public, the amount of people that are going to get to a pension age without actually being able to claim it on a utilitarian level of protecting people and guaranteeing that the state is going to be able to do that, given a comparative that every punishment is going to be top of 6 months now, is unbelievable an incentive to make sure that I can get rich off over the top of others. Secondly, this has a clear incentive to reduce rehabilitation. Why? The public is likely to be significantly less willing to spend money on prison and to actually make sure and guarantee and guard and supervise the prisons in a world in which they can just say, but prisoners can immediately go out, all they need to do is this one simple thing of returning to society. Why does that matter? A, rehabilitation is an unbelievably necessary tool, and the investment of the state is an unbelievably necessary tool for them to actually reincorporate into society, to make sure that they're going to get a necessary step. The fact that there is a fear that they might commit a further crime into the future is an excellent incentive for other people to invest in people that have gone astray, because I know that it might come back and bite me in the ass. Yes, in some cases it doesn't work, but in many of the cases it is a guarantor of a right that I'm going to get. Note moreover to something that's unbelievably cool that it does to everyone and not just to people now that are going to be willing to take this magic pill or chip that they're suggesting. It has an incentive for an expansionism of criminal law, all in all, for everyone, and actually criminalizing people significantly easier. How come? Because if there is going to be less rehabilitation, and there is going to be less of a degree for implementing people with the discretion on how they should behave on the day-to-day interactions with other people, currently we give a law with a broad discretion of general principles. Now, in order to make sure that this thing is going to work and other people are actually going to be protected, since there is a massive incentive to reduce rehabilitation, the clear thing that you ought to do is just use the parliament in order to continue to expand what is considered criminal in a country to prevent people to do that. Why does that matter? That harms everyone, because I now have the degree of trying to make sure that a lot of human behavior is going to be considered as something that is frowned upon. Much more people are likely to be sent into the system in the first place and faced into these unfair situations in there. Moreover, it has a clear need to completely change the way that laws are written to reduce judicial discretion. How come? Again, because in order for this motion to actually operate, I cannot anymore have broad ideas of the law and let judges interpret them on a case-by-case basis. What happens here is I have an incentive to write the law as specific as possible. Here is the issue. It is very hard to predict, in many cases, what is going to be a specific situation. Judicial discretion, understanding the background of someone, being able to implement how it's going to play out, is a key part of the system that we live in. Otherwise, we would not have it and let anything be judged by Parliament a priori. Note, it is also coupled with the fact that the removal of discretion creates a negative feedback loop of continuing to expand every single scenario which is going to be a law. Note, it also shows you that states can sometimes, when they go array, like what is happening in the US right now, that someone has been elected, not going to name him, has been elected, not going to give him the honor, has been elected, that essentially might go something from a liberal way, might use these tools in order the continuous expansion, other than placing more people in jail and facing more people who are going to face this decision, other than placing more people in harm's way, might essentially use this as an unbelievably powerful tool for criminalizing things as dissent, for criminalizing things as my ability to conduct and being able to protest against others. All of these things are part of the criminal law, and the state now has a clearer, stronger incentive because of the pressure from people, because other people might not think about it while they vote for the politicians. Because of the ability, and I'm going to reduce it, all of them actually aggregate also my ability to protest. Yes?
Even if this is somehow different from the incentive of the status quo, those are great utilitarian outcomes that you're talking about in a the ontological debate by your metric.
I'm winning both metrics. Let's okay. Now in terms of coercion, because obviously government side agrees in this debate that it is not fine to coerce someone to take this choice. The entire mechanism set forth by government side is based upon the idea that it's only fine in case you have a clear consent from someone who is already a criminal. 4 reasons on why this is likely to be coercive. Firstly, the amount of pressures, if they are correct, that I'm going to be wielded upon by living in prison, if it's so bad, are going to be unbelievably high. Secondly, the system will want to get rid of me as soon as possible, because it has an alternative. Again, all of the public pressures reducing the amount of money, therefore, every counsel that I'm going to get, every measurement of how successful a guard is, how successful a counselor is likely to be measured by the amount of people that are going to be armed. Thirdly, I cannot, literally, assess every future situation in my life. I cannot understand if there is going to be a situation in the time that I'm making the decision that might be able to do that. The fact that someone is over 18 and therefore in an age of consent doesn't really mean that they know how to portray the rest of their life without any regret that is going to happen later on. And fourthly, again, because you're going to reduce rehabilitation, the entire system is likely to be worse off. Not the status quo system, but significantly worse off. Why does that matter? Because no, we agree to the extent, to some extent, of the magic that they get on their side of the house. But a husband that is beating his wife, sometimes it is fine for the wife to wed. It is very hard to determine a priori in which cases it is fine and in which cases it is not. Someone who is running away from a cop that might shoot them might commit a violation by one code of the law, but is unable to now apply the discretion and not also have the incentive to make sure that the law a priori is going to be written in a way in which they cannot resist. This creates a clear ability in which I cannot defend myself in the first place. This shows you why, also coupled with the idea that people will know that I cannot defend myself, it is easier to place myself in a situation when I return to it. The system that we live in believes in it is better to send one man free than generally others. They are not fine with cruel and unusual punishment. They are not fine with implementing for other people who are not currently part of the system. All of this suggests that if they're violating something basic into the principle, it shows you a routine both on the ontology and on consequences.